Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yo, what's up, y'all? It's the one and only hip hop gamer, Hot 97, Logitech GAMD. Yeah, son. We about to play some more Black Panther. You know what I'm saying? Marvel's Avengers. We about to get right up in the game. But before I do that, I gotta give a big shout out for my man Matt Bettelman. Matt Bettelman is the senior game designer over at Servius, and he has a classic game that's brought back now, actually a classic franchise. So back in the day, if y'all remember this game called Bubble Bobble, that's my joint. Well, Puzzle Bobble is here, and we're going to talk about that amongst other things we're going to talk about. So, but listen, y'all, without further ado, give it up for my man Matt Bettelman, senior game designer for Servius, Puzzle Bobble. Check it out right now. Then after that, have a blessed night. Enjoy the show. Yo, what's up? What's up? It's the one and only hip hop gamer, Hot 97, Logitech GAMD. We outside right now. You know what I'm saying? It's about to go down. Now, look, there's history here. You know what I'm saying? Now, way back, there was this game called Transformers, War for Cybertron, High Moon Studios, and my man Matt was there once again making a great game. You know what I'm saying? So that's one. Now, secondly, he got his world, going crazy when he was over at Treyarch as well. So that's another story because my man is serious. So now we here, Servios. Now we here. And we got a lot to talk about. There's a legendary game. There's a legendary brand in games. You know what I'm saying? If anybody remembers Bubble Bobble, you already know what it is. But today we here. So I want y'all to stand up, put your hands together, and give it up for the senior game designer over at Servius. Over at Servius, doing it big for Puzzle Bobble 3D. Matt Bettelman. What's up, baby? How you feel, son?
I'm doing awesome. After that, how could I not be doing anything less?
That's what I'm talking about, son. So, yo, let's get right into it, man. Like you are, working on like a legendary brand and franchise, you know what I'm saying, with the Bubble Bobble world and stuff like that. So how do you feel just working on the project itself to make sure that it's represented correctly in the gaming industry?
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't have possibly imagined working on Bubble Bobble or Puzzle Bobble growing up. I mean, I have a really weird background in the video game industry. I grew up in the arcade game industry. My family's business here in Los Angeles was a distributorship of arcade games, right? So, I mean, I remember playing the original Bubble Bobble on an arcade machine, before I can even remember doing pretty much anything else in my life. So the fact that, the franchise is carrying on and it's Bub's 35th anniversary, and I got the opportunity to work with Servios and work with Taito and make a brand new Puzzle Bobble game. I mean, it's mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me.
Wow, that's incredible, bro. So let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
So I'm playing the game, right? And it's different. And what I mean by it being different is, you got like this fishing rod type of thing, like, you know what I'm saying, like slingshot type of thing. And you shoot it, but when you shoot it up, like the level is changing, like the puzzle is changing based off how you landed. So where did the idea come from to do a puzzle game, but in that particular style? Because that's not common. That's completely different.
Yeah, it's definitely a new flavor. And what happened was the team at Servios. So Servios, our expertise is VR, right? We love VR. We breathe it. We're one of the oldest VR game developers in the world. And there was a small team inside Servios a few years ago that almost was trying to do like a casual games initiative, like trying to take some of the classic, puzzle games or arcade games that you know and love and say, like, how would these work in VR? How should they translate to VR? So that's where it started. And actually that team initially, they did a really traditional rendition of a Puzzle Bobble bust a move style game with like a flat screen in front of you, but in VR. And everyone said, okay, this is all right, but this doesn't take full advantage of VR as a medium. So that's when the experiment started saying, like, okay, well, let's make it a physicalized game action, and let's make it a 3D game board and have it rotate in response to where your shots are going and all of that came from that experimentation. So yeah, that's where those ideas were all born. And honestly, it works amazingly in VR, and it works really, really well in non-VR as well. It's a new spin on an amazing classic game.
So one of the things I wanted to ask, right, is just the characters themselves and the way they're animated and stuff like that. Have y'all thought about expanding? Now, I'll give you an example of what I mean. Like, it'd be really cool if y'all was able to get different characters to come into the world of, Puzzle Bobble and stuff like that, and make it mean more. So one of my biggest questions for you is, like, I was watching the stream on Nintendo, and they had announced that Kirby has his own action adventure game now, like how Mario has. You know what I'm saying? Big 3D world. Like, seeing Kirby like that is different. Like, this is dope. So have y'all thought about or had conversations where can we take, the characters in the lore, of Bubble Bobble? Can we take it into a world like that, where it's this big open 3D type of experience? Considering you went from VR to now, I think that could be huge, bro. Talk to me.
I mean, we love Bub and Bob, and we love the Bubble Bobble franchise. We absolutely love this universe and these characters, and we've had a lot of conversations about what we can do. Um, we've got a lot of big plans on paper, and we, all say is there's nothing concrete we can announce, but we would love to continue working with Taito, and we would love to expand on this universe in the ways you're thinking. That would be so cool.
Bro, you know how much money you make? Like, yo, let's just keep it real. Like, there's so much money in that. Like, that right there would be huge, because you gotta understand, from the music, like the cuteness of the characters. Like, this is something that could be big, that people would start to go to the store and like buy these like characters, buy like pillow versions of them. Like, I could really see the big craze like happening all over again if a game like that of that magnitude was built. So that's why I asked the question. That's why I threw it out there. So now to get back to this, I know you got your story mode, and you got the infinite mode and stuff like that. So one of the things that, when you're looking at esports and the way things is today, back in the day with Walter Day and the way, technically esports was back then, the way it started, it was all about the high score and, things of that nature. Do y'all got plans, or have y'all had conversations about how can we take what we're doing with these types of titles and make them that much more engaging and interesting again for the new generation of kids that's coming up?
Right. Yeah, it's definitely something we've talked about. I think one of the big things for us with this game is it's a brand new initiative at the studio. We care a lot about cross reality. It's actually
Okay.
something we're trying to bridge the gap between VR and non-VR, sort of more traditional gaming, right? So
Mm.
that's one of the ways that we're trying to think about, bringing the new generation of kids into this, especially from a multiplayer perspective. And that's one of the things that's really cool about the new version of this game, Puzzle Bobble 3D Vacation Odyssey, because if you're playing in VR and I'm playing on PlayStation 5, we could still play dual mode against each other. It doesn't matter kind of which console you're playing on, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, VR, non-VR, you could play together. You can go head to head. And so that's really cool for us.
Yo, that's dope, bro. So now I got another crazy question for you, man. I think it'll be real dope, or is this something else that y'all thought about, where you could have one player controlling how the sphere turns and spins around while you're trying to, shoot and get the slingshot to land right and stuff like that? Have you thought about having that level of of a competitive nature in the game, instead of y'all both trying to do the same thing? You got one person trying to doing the complete opposite to try to stop you, and vice versa.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such an accessible game, and there are infinite number of opportunities to expand on it in the ways you're talking about. And you know, we love the idea of allowing people both in VR and non-VR to play together. And some people are like manipulating the game board, and some people are firing their bubbles at the game board. We would love to dive into that. We'll see. We'll see if we have the opportunity to do so. I would love to spend some time solving those problems.
Bro, you know how crazy that'll be, son? Like, to all my, like, as I'm talking to you, new ideas is popping in my head, son. Like, because like when you're a gamer, it's like you experience something and then feel like it's not enough, even if it's already good, but it's not enough. You want more. So now, another thing I want to talk about is the different level designs that y'all put into this game, and the different scenery and stuff like that. Uh, it would be really really cool if y'all had like a mini game of the old game in this game. So like I give you an example, because like for example, like certain levels, you got time, you got a time countdown, and then other levels you gotta win before you run out of like 20 balls, like, you know what I'm saying, before you throw them out. So it'd be cool if there was like a reward where if you can beat this level in 5 shots or something like that, you get a chance to play the old Bubble Bobble from back in the day as like a special reward level. Like, what's up, man? That could be DLC or something, son. Talk to me.
Oh yeah, let's if I could find a way to hide the original Bubble Bobble in this game, I absolutely would. I'd like to hide the original Bubble Bobble in every game I ever make going forward too, if I could. I don't know if Taito would be happy with that, but I would definitely do it. Um, we tried to. I think we did a pretty good job paying homage to the original Bubble Bobble and the franchise itself. We, this is actually like the first time that we're really seeing Bub and Bob together in 3D like this. It's super cool.
Mm.
We had a lot of fun bringing these characters to 3D.
Yo, now one of the things that now I'm gonna tell you personally, like a story of mine. Every day across the street, because I grew up in East New York, Brooklyn. So every day across the street, I would go to the laundromat, and I would play Golden Axe, Bubble Bobble, and Miss Pac-Man every day. Like literally every day, quarters, all this other stuff. And I always loved the music in Bubble Bobble.
I knew that's where
Always
this was
loved the
going.
music.
I
So,
knew it.
bro, what's up, man? Like I ain't gonna front. No Bubble Bobble game, variation of a game, whatever, should be without that classic music, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yo, that's what are
Battery
you
low.
kidding?
Please charge.
Yo, oh shoot, yo, this is like, you don't understand. Like, it'd be so crazy. So my thing is, what's your thoughts on that? Can we get the soundtrack back? Yo, like, talk to me.
So the original Bubble Bobble, that soundtrack, that background music is such an earworm, right? It's just completely stuck in everyone's head permanently forever. The thing that's really cool about this game is, so Taito has this in-house band called Zuntata, and Zuntata has done the backing music to every Taito game going all the way back to Bubble Bobble and even earlier. And they contributed all the original background music to this game. So you've got remixes of the old music from Puzzle Bobble and a lot of nods to the original Bubble Bobble as well. And I think anyone who's like you, who's an old school fan of these games, is going to be super happy with the music.
Oh, all right, okay. Because I'm telling you, man, like, you know how it is, man. Like, certain games, you don't even gotta see the game, but when you hear that music, the emotion, like, you know what I'm saying, it just hits you. So now I got a question that I don't think you've ever been asked when it comes down to puzzle games. Period. I would love to see different puzzle battles. I give you an example, like Bubble Bobble versus Tetris versus like Super Puzzle Street Fighter or something like that. Like, I would love to see like cross battle, like, you know how you got Street Fighter cross Tekken, to me, and all this other stuff. Like, is there a certain, like, is there other puzzle games that you've seen where it's like, yo, Peggy, I mean, I think it's Peggle, if I'm not mistaken, but it's like certain games that you saw was like, you know what, I love their idea, I like this, but I like what we're doing too. It'd be dope if we clashed, or we created a project where we could cross brand or something like that. Like, talk to me about that, man. Have that ever ran cross your mind as well?
That is so, that you're right. I haven't been asked a question like that before. That is super interesting. I'm trying to think what other puzzle game out there would mash up really, really well with Puzzle Bobble. It's a hard question for me because Puzzle Bobble itself is so iconic, right? I mean,
Yes.
there are there are hundreds of games out there that all follow the same mold that Puzzle Bobble is the originator of, right? So it's
Yes.
hard to consider mashing it with other things. But there are games like this, right? There are absolutely games. I mean, Taito themselves did a mashup of Puzzle Bobble and kind of a rhythm game. Um,
Mm.
I think I think there are opportunities here. I'd have to think about that some more, but I think there are some real opportunities here. I'd love to chat with Taito about that.
Yeah, I'm serious because think about this for a second, right? The style in which Puzzle Bobble is, just the nature of the style, right? Like imagine if you had a game like Super Puzzle Street Fighter where you instead of just the blocks and stuff like that, you actually got to do some of the Street Fighter moves to battle against Bub and Bob. So if you do a Dukin, a different type of puzzle like didn't come out, but because of Bub and Bob with the bubbles, they could probably catch it in a bubble and then boom. So it's an actual battle within the way the puzzle is designed,
Yeah,
bro.
a Puzzle Bobble, a Puzzle Bobble Puzzle Fighter mashup would be
Oh,
rad. That would be legit.
bro, and I'm just thinking about what the gameplay. What, yo, son, I'm telling you, like that would be insane. So yeah, man, like look, I'm just as passionate. I'm just passionate about it as you are, bro. But yeah, I love that, man. So now, one thing I want to ask you is, what were some of the challenges? Working on the title and just designing it, because no matter how much fun you have, you're always gonna come across those moments where it's like, dang, I can't figure this out, or what's going on, or why I can't get through this. So can you talk a little bit about what the process, is like getting it to where it's at today where we can enjoy it?
Yeah, absolutely. On the design of the individual puzzles themselves, it's a lot of iteration, right? Because we have, 6 different colored bubbles to play with, and there's like 10 different level mechanics, and there's all these different environments you could be in, and weather effects and times of day, and like figuring it all out so that it all flows in a way that's really accessible and chill and easy to understand and fun. That was definitely a challenge. And but we have a really talented team of artists and engineers and designers here, and everyone was more than up to the task. And honestly, like, just everyone was so excited throughout the duration of this project. Just everyone's love for this franchise, going all the way back to Bubble Bobble, was
Yeah.
so strong that it definitely helped, ease the pain a little bit there. And honestly, the other thing I'll say is it was so refreshing to work on something with such a chill atmosphere. Like, especially, we're all working remote. This past year and a half has been really tough. People are stuck in their homes, and so like every day at work, you're putting on a VR headset, and now I'm on a tropical island, and the wind is blowing through my hair, and the waves are splashing. Like, this was actually the perfect place to be uh, for my 9 to 5. I'll tell you that.
Yo, that's amazing, bro. So now another thing I want to talk about is the VR, aspect, of the game, and the difference between VR versus non-VR. So now we know that PlayStation VR 2 is coming, and we know that there's newer technology. Now, one of the things that I heard that not only PlayStation VR 2 has, but just the technology period that's out there for VR, they have what they call smell-o-vision, where they got ways where you could actually smell like the environment, because you gotta understand they run a lot of these tests on people that are deaf and people that have certain disabilities, so they can feel more immersed into things that they're naturally not. So what I want to ask you, man, is what's some of the things that y'all working on right now that you can speak on, that people is like, ain't no way this is impossible, but it is possible, and you can do these things in the world of VR. Can you let us into your world a little bit real quick with that?
Yeah, absolutely. There's not a lot I can say concretely about what's coming, but I'll say that, with Puzzle Bobble 3D, the cross reality initiative is something that we take very seriously, and being able to play with other people and being able to play however you want, regardless of whether you want to play in VR or with a controller or without a controller or on your couch on your TV. um, that that concept is super important to us going forward, and it's going to continue to be important to us for a long time. And the thing I wanted to bring up about this, actually, so you brought up smell-o-vision, which is actually a really, really interesting concept, but what it comes down to for us is accessibility, right? Coming
Right.
up with ways to make your games fun and accessible for people of all different stripes, right? And that was something that was super important for us on Puzzle Bobble 3D. to wit, we spend a lot of time and effort making different colorblind modes to help
Wow.
people with different types of colorblindness. So actually, when you play the game, if you jump into the options, you can switch between one of 3 different colorblind modes to help people who have different types of colorblindness. And we put a lot of effort into it. I hope it'll help people, because if you think about it, this game is all about matching colors, right? Like if you can't distinguish between a red bubble and a green bubble, or what we're calling a red bubble and a green bubble, then this game is almost going to be unplayable to you. So that's why it was super important for us to have different options, because even 2 people who are diagnosed with the same type of colorblindness, they may not see 2 identical colors the same way. They might perceive them slightly differently. So we have 3 different colorblind modes, and we really hope that this will enable people to play this game who may not have been able to otherwise. And that's true whether they're playing in VR or not in VR.
Wow, yo. That's what I'm talking about. Yo, man, I love you, bro. I mean that, man. Like, this is what I'm talking about. Like, so with my follow-up question to something to that, like, to that nature being that important, I have a program called Gaming and Guidance, and one of the main things that I inspire others, especially a lot of the kids that's coming up, is that in the gaming industry is more than just gaming. Like, you know what I'm saying? There's so much more. So you would be in your position as a senior game designer. What's some of the other positions and other roles that's important that you need, or that the industry as a whole need more of, that can help y'all grow as a company and help the industry grow as well? You know what I'm saying? Now, we
Yeah.
know your role, senior game designer, but what other roles besides just playing the game that y'all look for, that y'all need to help the whole industry be able to flourish?
I mean, look, game development is a very, very interesting it's a very, very interesting endeavor, because it takes people of all different kinds of skill sets. You need really strong and talented artists. You need audio people who can make something sound amazing and not overwhelming to the player. You need VFX artists, you need animators, you need producers, you need quality assurance people, you need marketing and PR people. All of these people are game developers. And if they're specialized in what they're really capable of, there is not a ton of overlap in all of these different skill sets. So you need people of all kinds of different skill sets in order to round out a team and make a competent game that's going to ship and ship on time and ship with quality, right? So the thing I would just say to you is that, now more than ever, video games are for everyone, and video game making is for everyone. You know,
Mm.
if you're someone who's out there and you're not sure about it and you think you might want to start making games, just go download the Unreal Engine, go download Unity. There's nothing stopping you today from having fun and learning. And then maybe one day you can join a team and put something out there that the world will love. I mean, I think what game development and the industry needs more than anything else is a diverse array of voices, because everyone is going to have their own take on things and their own background. And the more diversity we have, the better our products are going to be, and the more universal they're going to be.
Yo, bro, yo, y'all gotta give it up for my brother Matt right here, B. Y'all gotta give it up for Matt. So Matt, I got a major question, because we was talking about soundtracks and the music earlier and stuff like that. Keep in mind, this is Hot 97, son. So I'm not sure how much of a hardcore hip hop head you are, but bro, if there was, one or two hip hop artists that you can have in a puzzle bobble game, or any game that you want to make going forward, bro, I need to know, man, who you want to work with. If and keep in mind, I'm very well connected. I'll just leave it at that. But I'm just telling you, bro, yo, Matt, I need to know, son, who you be listening to, man. Who's that hip hop artist that, yo, if I can get him in Puzzle Bobble, I can get him in this game, I'll do it.
That is such a trip. Let me think about that for a second. Who would be a good fit for Puzzle Bobble? You know who's got a real like upbeat vibe that might be chill enough to go with Puzzle Bobble is Jurassic 5. I know I'm dating myself a little bit.
Oh,
It's a little bit of a throwback, but I
okay.
think that could work, right? That could work a little bit.
Let me find out, yo. And you know what's so funny? I think that with the group, Jurassic 5, if you let's say here's the way my mind is thinking. I would take like Jurassic 5 and like Naughty by Nature and put the, yo, I love what I do. I love this, man. Yo, I'm having a ball talking to you, bro. But yeah, like that's what I'm talking about. Like I would love to do like crazy weird mashups that in the end the results is like, yo, I never would have thought. And boom, the world loves it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, bro, I would love to see what that looks like in the world of Puzzle Bible. That'd be crazy. So, a couple more questions, then we'll wrap it up. One question that I love to ask everyone is, what was a moment in your life when you felt like you was at your lowest and things couldn't get any worse, but you managed to find strength in that moment that allowed you to be successful today?
That's a really, really tough one.
I know.
Um, yeah, that's a tough one. Wow. Asking some vulnerability out of me. I would say, I would say, so you referenced the fact that I work at Treyarch. I don't think it's any secret that, Treyarch is one of the hardest working companies in this industry. And so going through the process of shipping a couple Call of Duty games, it was tough. You get to a point where, you there are some long hours involved and everyone is super, super passionate and everyone wants to put out the best thing they've ever put out every time. So I would say there were definitely times there where it's tough. It was a struggle. But having been through it and having gone through it, I'm super proud of the games that I put out there, and I'm super proud of the work I did with my collaborators there. And now it has given me the strength to be able to step back a little bit and appreciate when I can work and then when I can also not work, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You get to a point in your career where you realize that you need to have the downtime to let ideas breathe so that you can put your best work out there.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the things that you touched on, it also relates to depression. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have no balance and you don't allow yourself to actually grow because you're always this, and there's never no time for you to kind of like woosah and relax and then get back to it, you could be more damaging than helpful. So I understand exactly to the T what you're talking about. And I'm glad you brought up just how tough it is to bring out a Call of Duty game. Like to for a Call of Duty franchise to be like, number one every year and just go and do all the stuff that you got to go through to get that out, I can really imagine what those hours and what that pressure is like. So to see you get through that, bro, and to go through that, and then you do a puzzle Bible, you chilling, this is beautiful. This is beautiful to see, bro. So for the final question, man, and this is very important, as well. But what if there's something that you can through your own experience, in the game industry and just your own personal experiences that you've gone through in life, things that you managed to overcome and triumph. Um, what do you want to see more of in our industry? Like, if there's one or two things you can say that, what, there's not enough of this or there's not enough of that. What do you want to see more of that you feel will make the industry a little bit better, for everyone that's involved?
So that's a really, really good question. And I think that there's, a litany of possible answers there. But here's something I'll say. I'm not a big, I don't have a huge online presence. I'm not a big outward facing personality. Amazing opportunities to speak with people like you, notwithstanding. But I'm on social media. I'm on Twitter all the time. I lurk, and there is always a lot of conversation on these platforms about how certain segments within game development or the games industry, well, they're not game developers, or they're lesser. So for example, people common misperception, right? People thinking that QA either isn't important, or that people who do quality assurance aren't skilled, or that they're not really game developers. And I think that there's there are a lot of voices out there now who are, being very forward thinking and saying like, no, quality assurance is actually critically important. And I'm someone who, I started my career in video games in quality assurance, so I know firsthand how important that function is for a stable and successful game development. Because ultimately, if you don't have people who are, being observant and thoughtful and doing the million things that they have to do on a daily basis to make sure that we're shipping a game that isn't buggy and isn't going to be
Battery
terrible
40%.
for players. I mean, you can't understate how important quality assurance is to the success and the quality of any individual video game. So that's what I would say. I would just say, treat your quality assurance people kindly. They work just as hard as everybody else, and they are definitely just as important as anybody else making a video game.
Yo, that's the way you wrap up an interview, son. That's the way you wrap it up, B. Yo, that's crazy, son. So, yo, Matt, I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. Like, I can't wait to be able to, like, see y'all in person, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I miss it, man. E3, or just everything. I miss it. So I'm telling you right now, man, it was beyond an honor to be able to talk with you and build with you and just learn more about what you're passionate about in terms of how these games are coming out and where you want to take it. It's just in terms of the growth of the industry. I love it, bro. So before we get out of here, Matt, is there anything you want to say to the fans? Anything that you want to say and share about Puzzle Bobble before we get out of here?
The game just came out. It's Puzzle Bobble 3D Vacation Odyssey. You can get it on PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5. You can play it in VR, not in VR, cross reality. I hope people like it. Anyone, if you love Bubble Bobble, if you love old school arcade games, I think this is going to be something really cool for you. And I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on. It was awesome talking to you, dude.
Yo, you already know what it is, son. So look, love you, Matt. I'm telling y'all right now, Puzzle Bobble, get this joint. I played it. It's fire. I'm going to stream it. I'm going to show it off. Like, you know how I get down. You know what I'm saying? So we're going to play that. I'm looking to battle people online. All of that. Let's go. I'm pretty nice when it comes to puzzle games. So don't sleep on me, son. You know what I'm saying? We can play games like Tekken, and then we go right to Puzzle Bobble. Either way, I'm nice. So on that note, I want to say one love and God bless. Logitech GAMD. Furia Esports on your hot 9-7 every day. That's my word. God bless y'all, and we are out of here. Peace.